Hey guys, it's Leslie Tao here. Hello and welcome to my YouTube. Now today I'm going to talk to you and tell you about the story of the developer who eloped for a Ferrari. What? And this is a true story and it happened to me. It's about this Dubai real estate developer who scammed people for a luxury car. And unfortunately, I got scammed in this instance, but I want to share the story with you. Now, before we go into the nitty gritty and the exciting bits and pieces, please make sure you're smashing that like button below for the YouTube algorithm. So I'm totally grateful. Now, here is a bit of the background story. So for those of you that don't know me, I am a third generation Taiwanese Brit by nationality. I'm currently living in the UK and I lived in Dubai for about 10 years previously. I was working long hours in a litigation law firm in Dubai. It was a really nice firm actually, a Magic Circle firm. And I remember having a bit of a panic attack in I think it was around 2010 or something, because I was hitting the age of 30 and I just wasn't where I envisaged where I would be in life. At 18 years old, so that feels so long ago now, I thought that the age of 30 was, going to be so long away. And by then I would have made it as some sort of hotshot judge or lawyer or a business tycoon or be married off to some lovely man. But I hadn't actually achieved any of those goals that I set when I was 18 years old. And in fact, to be honest guys, I wasn't even close. And for me, I just felt like a big loser. I guess everybody has different goals that they set for themselves. And when you aren't there, when in my case, when I reached the age of 30, I just felt like, what am I doing? And what do I actually want out of life? So let's talk a little bit about corporate life. It wasn't at all bad, to be honest. Obviously, having a job is great because it's bringing in a source of income. But one of my bosses reminded me that I did feel like golden shackles. I remember panicking that another 10 years would then fly past and I would still be stuck in the office with grey hair, having a little computer belly and still daydreaming about what if. So with a heavy heart, when I, on my 30th birthday, I blew out my candles and I decided to make a change. I revisited the Robert Kiyosaki book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I actually bought it and read it like in my 20s, but I didn't implement, any of the sort of investment strategies he was talking about. So I decided to reread it again and it really spoke to me. I guess 30 was the magic number for me because that's when I actually started my property journey, and it was also the age when I bought 4 properties in 1 year because I was so focused on producing another source of income apart from my salary. Now, let me tell you about the property dream. So for those who don't know what cash flow is, it's basically money that you can put back in your pocket or your bank account, which is produced through a passive source of income. One of those, although it might not be completely passive, depending on how you set it up, is rental income, dividends or other investments. So what that means is you will still have money coming in even if you are asleep, if you lose your job, if you get ill or get into an accident, or you decide to take some time off. So a sabbatical, you travel around the world, or you just don't want to work your 9-to-5 job again. So how does that sound to you guys? So for me, at the age of 30, I was all about trying to find another stream of income that if anything went wrong with my job or I decided I didn't want to work there anymore, I could, still have a certain amount of money coming in every month. For me, I decided to work on building a cash flow base from investing in property, and I became financially free from investing in this way the first time in 2013. So it took me 2 years the first time round to become financially free, but I had enough passive income coming in from the rental incomes to quit my corporate job, which allowed me to then dabble in other businesses and explore other things that I like to do. So I started off, by the way, purchasing apartments in Dubai using the traditional method. And I used the funds which I raised through my own saved salary, through friends and family, as the deposit / down payment on the apartment. And the rest of the purchase price was funded by a mortgage which was raised against my salaried income. So that's how I got started with purchasing property in the traditional way, I would say. Now let's talk about the dodgy developer. So I thought I was doing quite well, and things were going quite well initially. I was able to complete, as I mentioned, on 4 apartment purchases in just under 16 months. But I also ran into trouble. So that was when I was trying to purchase my 5th apartment. It was literally, guys, a belly flop. But it makes good entertainment now, because now I have like cool stories to tell everybody, because it would be a bit weird if everything was very smooth sailing all the time. Okay, we have challenges that we come across and we just have to resolve problems ultimately. Now, the real estate agent that I was using, that I purchased some of the other apartments from, so he sent across an interesting brochure. So it came across my desk, and it was for an off-plan purchase of a few hotel units in a pocket of Dubai, called Jumeirah Lake Towers, JLT. So the agent actually told me that his agency that he worked for had also purchased 2 floors worth of units in this hotel tower, and the project was on track to be completed in under a year. So I did my due diligence, I visited the construction site, and was able to view the finished studio on some of the lower floors, which were complete. I did my DD, which stands for due diligence, on the project, okay, and the developer, and nothing really appeared off. There was a world-class American law firm that was representing the developer, and all the contracts appeared really solid. However, 12 months came and passed, and the construction was still not finished. So when I tried to get updates from the real estate agent, they appeared really cagey and stressed, and they wouldn't, sort of answer my calls. And then something was really off when the American law firm suddenly stopped representing the developer. So I definitely smelled a rat. So after applying some pressure, the agent eventually told me that the owner of the developer, the company, was having problems with his son. So the son had apparently touched the investors' funds to fund his lifestyle, which included purchasing the latest Ferrari model. Now, his father was going nuts trying to track his rogue son down, but that was it, and that was all the information I got. So I was absolutely flabbergasted and really lost for words, since I've never been in a situation like this before. The money I had put down towards this purchase of this off-plan apartment was supposed to be protected by an escrow account. Now, this is a regulated account registered and protected by the Dubai government for off-plan development projects. And the main function of an escrow account is to protect developers. Obviously, something went really wrong here, and the plans I used to purchase this off-plan property, which was a mixture of my own cash and that of family and friends, had gone into the wrong pocket. Now, guys, it's one thing to lose your money, but losing money of friends and family is another kettle of fish altogether, and I felt awful. So a very sick feeling at the bottom of my stomach. My heart sank and I felt sick. However, let's do something about it then, yeah? I tried to remain calm on the outside, but every cell in my body was on overdrive. And I knew that taking things legal was not an option, as the case would drag out and there would be a disproportionate spend on legal fees. Plus, everything was in Arabic, so additional translation fees on top. I dropped the useless agent and went straight to negotiate with the developer myself. So armed with my BBF, Maha, if you're watching this, who's an Arabic speaker, a will of determination, we went through a series of complex negotiations. We actually managed to negotiate 90% of our monies back, and that was paid back to family and friends as a priority. And I personally soaked up the 10% loss myself. So that was a win, I would say. The 10% loss, guys, actually went into lining the fat pocket of the developer's representative, who processed a 90% refund for us. So I guess that was, he wanted this commission, and if he can get 10% of what was refunded, then he would process basically the 90%. It's kind of like a bit of a blackmail commission that was happening there, to be honest. And what happened was, guys, I vowed never to buy off plan again. So what were the lessons learned there? So as I didn't have a big pot of money to keep purchasing properties with, and my confidence, to be honest, had taken a bit of a dip after this Ferrari scam experience, I decided what a good idea it would be if I could make money off properties I didn't own. So I started exploring to see whether this is possible. If it was, I wouldn't need an upfront cash deposit. It was less risky because I wouldn't own the property, and I could scale my cash flow much faster. So this was the property investment strategy, which allowed me to accelerate my financial freedom journey and eventually replace my income from the law firm. Essentially, I was making money from properties I didn't own, and I would leverage against other landlords' properties by taking a lease to sublet the unit using different rental strategies legally. So in the US, this is known as rental arbitrage, and in the USA, it's known as rent to rent. Now, the biggest mindset lessons I learned as an entrepreneur and investor are that we constantly enrich our experiences with every business deal. We need to change with the tide of the water and not be afraid to put in whatever is necessary to get the job done, and also let go if things are not working out. I part this as an experience, guys, that money actually paid for. So that is my true story of getting scammed by a real estate developer in Dubai who used our funds to purchase a Ferrari. Now, I don't know whether the other investors ever got their money back, but that is my story. Hopefully shows you that it wasn't all negative though. It was a massive learning experience. I was able to then find some other property strategies which I still use nowadays for my property empire, and also how to negotiate really tough, because in Dubai, sorry to say this guys, but being a female and obviously one that doesn't speak Arabic, I think I would definitely had some disadvantages, but there's always ways around things, I think, if you're willing to put the work in and strategize. Alright, I hope you enjoyed my story, and I'll see you guys very soon for the next video. Bye!